Hello, my friends. Welcome back. This is Be Again Books, and I'm Kathleen. And today I'm sharing a flip through of a really special journal that I made for the Restash Junk Journal Challenge. This one is called Sunny Days, and it's meaningful to me because it's a reminder that even when things feel heavy, there's still light to be found. And we have what we already need, even if it might have been forgotten or tucked away somewhere. So I created this journal entirely from stash, swap, and thrifted materials, just like the challenge encourages. And it's not just a personal project, it's also a little gift to this community. I'll be giving Sunny Days away to one randomly chosen participant in the challenge, kind of as a thank you for creating alongside me during this month. So let's go inside. So all of these materials, as I say, have been just in my stash. So a little, I'm not even sure what that could have been, but a piece of ephemera. This was a pastel kind of sketched painting. My friend Isabel did, and it was large, and I cut it down into tags and created that little journaling space here. You probably can recognize this is just a junk mail envelope here in the front. Here is just a cluster and another piece of vintage stationery. So that can tuck in here like that, or it can just be another piece over here if you want to leave that open to see the pretty paper. This is the focal point paper for the journal. I have this little shorts here. I'll flip out. This is the paper from that vintage composition notebook. So I have quite a bit of that left. Some other papers in my stash. Edith Holden. Here's a lace pocket from that tablecloth. Yeah, I just made this lace pocket. Be your beautiful self. And this is just a little fancy fold from a hotel in France. Some stationery. This is a pretty floral page from an Ideals book, and I've just made this kind of folded back pocket. This is, I am not sure what that is. It's vegetables, I think. Maybe fruit. But lots of room to journal on the back of that label. A little folded pocket and vintage note paper. Here is a peekaboo pocket from that pretty postcard, and I've just put a little embellishment there. This says, "Listen to your heart, it will show you the way." This is the flip out envelope, and it also just has a little vintage note paper. It's the other side of that fold up pocket, a little sticker. And this is some more hotel stationery. There is no no hotel listed, but that's kind of a fun travel stationery, and name and address. Here is this just another little note paper tucked behind there, and this is that flip up journal card that we made. This was in a video a few weeks ago, and that just slides down there, so it's kind of like a hidden journaling pocket. This is gonna shed threads for a while, probably, so just keep yanking them off. Some coffee dyed paper. This is the other side of the Edith Holden, and I've just put a little corner tuck there and some vintage ephemera. Vintage notepad. Here's a little tag corner tuck, and this is a vintage 1940 invoice from a hardware store, and lots of room to journal here on the back. Just tuck that behind there. Some washi tape. This is kind of a fun thing. It's with fabric, so there's just some fabric scraps and in a little cluster here, and then journal space on the back, and that just kind of tucks, flips over the top there. And then this is a little vintage postcard, or little vintage Happy Christmas, and we will just pin that back on. I've done this pretty stenciling kind of as a way to just sort of unify the whole book, bring it all together. Here's a little fabric tucked piece, and a little gold pin and a little charm. This side is a recycled junk envelope, and I have used that slide that we made together a couple weeks ago. It's a hardware store check. And behind is a page out of a vintage desk diary. You remember these papers I showed in the supplies video? I put a little tag there on that flips out. It's a little corner pocket and a tag. I just did some sponging on the back there. This is the music page, and I have folded it up and made a little pocket here at the bottom. Just put a little tag. This was from some packaging, or maybe one of the file folders, perhaps. Vintage receipt in a pretty yellow color. And this is one of Diane True's old schoolwork from the suitcase. She's diagramming sentences here, and it's in pencil, so all of this could be erased, but the back is blank, and so that makes a nice paper for journaling. Here is the one of the needlework book pages from the thrift haul, and I've just made this little tab here. And here is our hanky flip. So there's that part, and a vintage library card. And then here's the other side that also flips with the hanky and the little girls. If you missed that video, you can go back and listen to the story that I told. This is the page out of the garden book. And here's another little fabric flip. So it's embossed. The fabric is embossed onto a card. And I did some smushing there. So there's plenty of room in here for journaling. And then that just slides over this shorter page. And here's the center of the signature, this music manuscript that was also in the thrift haul, and one of our large cluster journaling cards. So I just have that pinned on this side, and on this side is this beautiful little pocket. This is eco-dyed paper, so it's kind of like a cardstock. And this was in my stash. I'm sure it was a swap of some kind, or maybe just Happy Mail. And that I'm just pinning here on the opposite of that garden page. Peeks out. Here I've used some of that funny seam binding. It's wide, and I've just glued it over the edge of that page, and that just is to kind of give it, you know, some color, help harmonize the journal with color. Here's an altered postcard on the other side of the needlework page, and then this is one of the pages of the manuscript, so you can write and journal on the back of that. And I've just kind of folded down a little dog ear there. Here's another of the music pages and the pocket there at the bottom, and this pretty tag that we made with the slides. Another little folded dog ear there. Here is one of the file folders in that thrift haul, and I have done a little fabric cluster charm dangle pinned on there. Here's the other side of that pretty wrapping paper. And here's a little altered paper clip with some of the fabric and this paper flower. And this is, again, part of Diane's schoolwork. So it's pretty ratty, but I thought I loved these colors, the foxing colors. And I just have folded that up kind of roughly and set it here behind that paper clip. Some yarn fiber there at the top. Here's the last page, is that photo that I've used the lace over top, and a little just score pad vintage piece there. There's the end. Thanks so much for flipping through Sunny Days with me. I have a second giveaway in relation to the Junk Journal Challenge, and it is just a stash journal kit, just a kit from my stash. Let me show you just a few pieces. I'm still working on it. And I probably will be working on it until it's time to tape the box shut. So I have some fiber, some little edge ruffles. I've got just some things from my stash, and some tags, some ephemera, there is some playing cards, other pieces. Some of them are handmade, some of them are just out of my ephemera drawers. I've included some fibers that I think go with the papers that I've chosen. So there's some fibers. I have pulled papers from my stash, and other kinds of things that you might find interesting to make a journal with. Just interesting things, I thought. Some vintage paper, some pictures, and then I have chosen. I have a book cover here that I picked out. You don't have to use any of these things, but I just wanted to kind of de-stash a little while I had the chance. And so I just picked out some of my favorite things. I would love to make this into a journal, and I hope that maybe some one of you that gets this in the drawing, that maybe you will be inspired by some of these things and make a journal yourself. So if you're taking part in the Stash Restash Junk Journal Challenge, be sure to use the hashtag Stash Restash JJC and tag me at Be Again Books so that I can see what you're making, whether it's one pocket or a whole journal. This challenge isn't about perfection or keeping to the rules. It's about reconnecting with your creativity and using what you have and remembering why you started making in the first place. And it's not too late to do something. You've got a week left through the end of the month, and just remember to use the hashtag and let me know with a tag to Be Again Books. I can't wait to see your beautiful, scrappy, inspired creations. Until next time, take good care and keep making something meaningful.